Hey guys, and welcome back to another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, my name is Blake Smith, and with me are my partners in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt and Mr. Ryan Roberts. How are y'all doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I almost butchered my own name. It's all good. It's totally okay.
You were for
a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyways,
how we're going to start?
This is how we're going to start. Okay. Yes, we're just going to go ahead and do a blanket words are hard, get it out of the way. Just be ready to roll with us. We're going to have a fun time. Lots of corrections along the way. I'm pretty
So you said Shelley what?
Shelley, huh?
Oh, you
Shelley
said
what?
Shelley something, and anyway, yeah. Did you see me run away from the screen right before we started?
I did.
We were going live, and I realized that my soda pop was across the room, and we cannot have that.
Oh no!
So I had to go and get my soda pop, but I'm like, I'm always back before it goes live.
I'm telling y'all, this is how it's going to be tonight.
You know what? If you were a psychic, you would have known that I would have been back on time.
Great dad joke. Speaking of psychics, we have some amazing special guests tonight. We met one of them at West Tex Paracon whenever we went down there, which is a fantastic time. I think her and I spent more time taking selfies while all the investigations were going on than anything, but that's okay.
Sounds about right.
It sounds about right. It was great pictures to be had. But we're going to go ahead and bring them on because I want to get this started. I got questions for them. I know y'all do too. So we are going to bring on, we have psychic, medium, and paranormal investigators, both Moongirl, Mistress of the Paranormal, and Glenda, the Good Witch.
Yes.
How are y'all doing?
Hi. Great.
Awesome. We're so glad that y'all joined us tonight. We had a chance to be on y'all's podcast, so we definitely wanted to come over or have y'all over on ours. Just
they
so
still
we could
regret that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just so we could just crack up and cause shit with y'all. But how are y'all doing tonight?
Good. Happy to be here, and thank you guys for coming on to ours. So that was really awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of
They
fun.
say that now.
We ran it twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. we did do that.
Encore, baby.
Yeah. So if y'all actually want to see that episode, what's the name of the podcast where they can go find it? I'll
They
let y'all
can go to YouTube and find Glenda's Magical Creations. And
There you go.
It's all there. So,
God, we had a blast on that.
we did.
Well, you didn't give the name, Glenda. It's the Paranormal Dolls. Okay, you can catch us on Roku too, and Amazon Fire, and Apple TV, Spotify, and Conscious Awakening, and
they have to go to
all
the Conscious
social.
Awakening Network for the Glenda's Magical Creations
Yes.
channel to go
for Glenda's.
to go through all that.
Y'all all over the place.
And I'm a part of the show, and I still can't find it. So I just go by whatever I see on YouTube or
We're
Facebook.
hiding it from her.
I know.
Well, see, that's that. Why do you think Shelley has me or Ryan just say all the locations where we're located? She can't remember them all either. It's all good.
If it is under Everything Vaguely Paranormal, I don't know where it is. So it's just what I search.
Just type it into your Google machine and see where it comes up, and there you
Yeah, my Google calculator and see what it pulls up and gives me as a result. So, ladies, you both are paranormal investigators. And now, Glenda, what area of the country do you live? Because you don't live in the same area that Moongirl lives in, correct? Where are you from?
I live in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and Moongirl, you trying to make sure I call you Moongirl. You are in Texas,
South
correct?
Texas.
South Texas.
go.
Okay,
So y'all
howdy.
are very far apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start out with the average question. The question you should have known was coming. Where's the coolest place that you have enjoyed investigating the most? And it doesn't have to be in your area. Just where, as paranormal investigators, do you love to go? You're going to go no matter what if you get the chance.
Well, besides the one we did together over there, Oldie Park Hotel, of course. I really love, I think two of my favorite places were definitely Lavaca County Jail, because it's in Texas, and I love Debbie and Lisa. And then the other one was probably Old Baraboo, Haunted Old Baraboo Inn, and that's in Wisconsin, which I just did an event there not too long ago. And those are always fun. And those are, I can keep going and going and go. All three of those, my favorite, top three.
Wow.
I love it. How about you, Miss Glenda the Good Witch?
Well, there's a lot of them that I go that are private, so I can't really talk about. But one of the public ones was the Conjuring House.
Ooh, nice.
Blake's
Yes.
bucket list.
It's on mine too. Okay, I'm with you guys. Trust me, it's on mine.
And there is activity there. That's all I can say. I let you experience it your own way because some people experience some, and so I did
Believe
see a book fly.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'm like, that for me, I feel like I'm being damned as a paranormal investigator where people are like, it's Blake's bucket list. Listen, from Texas, Moongirl, you know this, from Texas, that's like 26 hours, okay? So bear with us while we try and get it together so we can get our asses up there to investigate it, okay?
I will
You know
just
what?
let you know.
I was having a panic attack just like on the plane because it was forever for me. Okay, like I had to take a couple of like other flights, and then while I'm in the plane, I'm like anything but the middle seat. Jesus Christ, please, no, 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 no. I ran to the restroom and I was hiding in the restroom. I know it's smaller, but still, I needed like some space. I'm like, I'm freaking out. There's too many people. It's too long. I gotta go.
Oh, the worst is when you are stuck in that middle seat and you have people who are like leaning over on top of you and spilling into the seat and crushing you between the two.
Yeah,
I
here's
totally
the
get it.
thing. The armrests are for the people in the middle seat because you see, you guys with the window, you can lean against this. You know, you guys on the aisle,
That's
you have
true.
leg
I
room.
agree.
Both of the armrests belong to the middle seat person, so keep your arms to yourself.
I
There's
learned
your public
my
announcement.
lesson. I will forever want the aisle seat. I mean, if something were to happen, I need a jet. I don't know, whatever.
Mhm.
I have to have the aisle seat. No more middle, no more window for me.
No,
No, I'm done.
I gotta have it too. My legs are too damn long to be sitting in that middle seat or that aisle seat or the seat by the window. But so with you guys being so far apart from each other, how did you guys hook up together?
It was a true love story.
Oh, boy.
Ryan's just going for those hardcore questions right now. So when did your eyes first meet?
I mean, well, we're two magical air signs. I'm an Aquarius, Pisces, Cuthbert, and she's a Gemini. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was bound to happen. No, we were on World's Largest Ghost, and that's actually where she went to go to the Conjuring House.
Right.
I went to Gonzales County Jail, which I got a lot of activity there. I even got bruises on my arm. I have pictures. Anyways, that's another story for another day, or whenever you guys want to talk about it. But and then we did it again too, and we've been friends ever since. And we started doing this together. We met in other events as well.
We went to Vegas for the reveal.
Yeah.
Talk about airplane rides. I was smart. I went on Blue Jet and I got myself a C plus, which meant it gave me more leg room and less people around.
Oh my God, Glenda, really, you need leg room. She's like a person McNugget. I thought I was a person McNugget because I'm 5'1".
But wait,
She's like up to
I
my
may be
nipple,
very
and
small,
she gets a longer seat. How does that make sense, Glenda?
but you have to remember I had my partner with me.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I
Yeah.
had LP with me. I even moved him to the other side, like the aisles in the middle, and he was on his own little lane over there. So I needed room. I needed to breathe.
All right.
So you guys both participated in the world it was the world's biggest ghost hunt, and you were on different
World's Largest
we were in
Ghost
the
Hunt.
same
Yeah.
okay, and y'all were on different
Correct.
investigations and just ended up
Yeah.
Right. We were in
connecting
the
through like
same.
a forum or
Well, we were in the same committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the metaphysical committee.
Yeah.
So the ended up being like there was only 5 of us. Or 6 of us ended up at by the time that the event actually happened. So we remained really good friends, and I have history after that. That was it.
awesome.
And I started doing
Love
podcasts,
story.
and I said to her, "You want to do a podcast together?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." That was it.
And the chaos ensued.
And then-
Well, we have to support each other, fellow Latina. She's my Cuban mommy, and I'm, representing Mexico. So yeah, we had to hook up and do it. Yeah.
Isn't that how most podcasts are born, though? Because I'm pretty sure that's how EVP was born. Shelly's like, hey, want to do a podcast? We're like, yeah, sure. Ryan's like, yeah, I'm in. And we're like, hey, look, there we go.
Absolutely.
Done and done. So,
So-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blake. I had a quick. Go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
I have a question because both of you have psychic abilities and you're both psychic mediums. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. being as that anybody's Patreon member, you'll know what I'm talking about. Is there a way to develop your psychic ability, your personal psychic ability, even if you think you have none? And does everybody have it? They just don't.
I think
know how to use
everybody
it.
definitely does,
Yes.
but some people are afraid to embrace it, or they want to brush it off and say, oh, it's a coincidence, like you have a dream and then it comes true or something like that, or a premonition, or you're thinking of someone, then they call you and they're like, it's a coincidence. No, baby, you're a psychic and you know something was going to happen, but people want to brush it off, or they just don't want to come to terms with it.
And I teach it every Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every
I was gonna say-
Thursday night I have mediumship development, psychic development, and it's by donation. So if you can't give, you can't give. So
Well, because we had somebody who has come from y'all's side that was saying that they need to check out your classes that you do. So I read that and I was like, ooh, classes.
yeah, I do classes, a lot of classes. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing?
So I have a question. So do you guys sit there and do this and try to guess colors and number? I mean, why do you teach them to do this? I mean, because that's what I envision. I envision everybody going, okay, I see red. You know, how do you prove that?
That's more like meditation. I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could just put you in a meditative state and you could do that by yourself. No, I actually have spirits come in and give us evidence, and for the people in the group, and then they give a full reading, and then they give, once everybody decides who it's for, because you got to figure out what
a lot of energy is coming in. So, even if you're like, say I'm trying to reach Shelly, all of a sudden someone from Blake's side, and nobody came in for you, but I'm still talking to you, but it's like, wait, that's my grandpa, Moongirl. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't have control over who comes in. They come in whenever they want, as many as they want. It could be somebody that from your childhood that you maybe like barely even knew, but it's their chance to say something to you or to be acknowledged, because nobody else has acknowledged them. So they know that we see them or feel them and we communicate with them. So that's how it goes with me, at least. Glenda?
Yes, it does happen that way, but I can bring somebody specifically for you, Shelly.
Yes, we can too.
I just cannot bring all the time who you ask for example, because they have free will. And if they don't want to show up at that moment, I'm not going to. And I'm sure Moongirl does the same thing. We don't take away free will, even on the other side. So.
Well, it's like the same thing when we go do investigations, and you guys will understand this because you're paranormal investigators. Like, I'm sure you've gone to like a plethora of locations. You don't always catch something. You could be there for hours and you get nothing. You could just have been there the whole night, whatever, you got nothing. Other times you get stuff. It doesn't mean that it's not haunted. They just didn't feel like putting on a show for us that day. Exactly. And that's how it goes. Or you could be there for hours and finally when you're about to leave, a book flies in your face or whatever. And there you go.
That's always, I think they do it on purpose sometimes though, because as soon as you hit that stop recording button, they're like, hey, watch this. And a glass goes flying and you're like, son of a bitch.
Why couldn't you have done that 2 seconds ago?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, shall I go ahead?
I was just going to ask, how do you know who they're coming? Do you hear names? I mean, I know everybody does it slightly differently that have these talents. Do you get like names, or do you get like all your energy gets like pulled towards one? Like, again, being a paranormal investigator, I can be walking down a hall and a room will just, whatever reason, that energy of that room catches my attention. Is it the same way in doing your mediumship whenever you're trying to figure out who the energy belongs to or belongs with?
Well, go ahead, Glenda. Go ahead.
When I do the classes, for example, they get evidence. They get name, they get the description, they get what they're wearing, what they did for a living, what kind of foods they liked, how did they die or the cause of death, what the person, the sitter, the live person did 4 weeks, for example, up to that moment in class, and then all that evidence comes out. So, I would say, okay, if the spirit tells you they went shopping, I want something specific, whether it's a red underwear, a black bra, a can of beans. I want specific. It cannot be just, they went shopping. Everybody goes shopping
That sounds like
at
a
some
good
point
night.
or another.
Yeah,
like a hell of a
to say we
Saturday.
went straight to the lingerie and fun.
Red
I'm all
underwear,
about that.
red underwear, black bra, and beans. Man, that sounds like a good
I
night.
told you she's Glenda the naughty witch.
Well, I told her y'all didn't get to see this before we started the live. I told Glenda that I'd make sure I'd enunciate the W and not the B at the beginning of words.
Yeah.
And what did I say? Doesn't make any difference.
It's a term of endearment, baby.
Exactly.
So you guys said that everybody has some sort of ability or has something. If they continue to dismiss it, does it just go away, or is it like a muscle and you have to continue to work at it and to make it better?
Like a muscle. It's not going to go away. You're still going to have it. You can try to dismiss it all you want. It's still going to be there. It may not be as strongly developed as other mediums or psychic mediums, but it's still there. You just need to tap into it. And like you said, it's like a muscle. You have to like work on it.
Okay.
And sometimes it brings you pain if you don't work it.
Mm.
If you don't develop it.
Like
It
what?
will, will bring you a lot of go to psychic medium and a lot of synchronicities and a lot of things that would happen to you that it's like you're hitting a wall everywhere you go. So eventually it's like, you need to lose weight. You go to the doctor and they keep telling you got to lose weight. Well, you have a heart attack because you didn't lose the weight. Then you're like, oh, I got to lose the weight. It hit you right in the face. So
Is it
It's
almost
that
like
power
a,
moment.
go ahead, I'm
So
sorry.
if you don't develop it, it can actually hinder you in your daily life. If you have the ability and you keep pushing it aside, it can actually hinder you in.
and if you're meant to be right in this lifetime, a full psychic and a full medium, they're going to keep pushing you until you do that.
Why can't they just leave you alone? Been like, fool, I don't want to talk to you. Hang up.
Because
hang
you
up.
already made that agreement before you decided to come down. So hello, they're saying we got you there. Now let's do your part of the contract.
And it can really hinder your mental health above all, honestly.
So is it like some sort of like psychic constipation, basically? Is that what?
True, but yes.
Okay.
That's funny, Ryan. And y'all take that and run with it. A psychic constipation if you don't use it. That's fabulous,
We're
Ryan.
going to have to use it, Glenda.
Yeah.
We're going to start calling people out. That mother trucker has psychic constipation.
Yes.
They're like, I can't tonight. I have constipation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Psychically. Sorry.
Okay, so that actually is very fascinating to me, that if they're knocking and you have the ability to answer, but you choose not to, or because you don't really know how, that actually interferes.
Mhm. Yep.
So again, why don't they just leave you alone if you're not interested?
Because you're born with a dawn. You have to
What's that?
embrace it. Like a gift. How do you say dawn in English? I don't know how to say that in English. Like I guess it's a gift.
A talent, a gift.
Yeah, from like
And
the
they
three.
give it to you, so you use it. It's like the person who knows how to play piano without ever taking any lessons, without anything, and they just hear a tune and blah, blah, blah. If they don't use it, it's going to hinder them in a way. It's going to make them somewhat possibly
Unfulfilled.
Well, then why don't people who have that just intuitively use it and deny their gift that they're given when they're sent here?
Some people are scared. They're scared, especially as a young kid, because I knew since I was a child that there was something. I had a lot of sleep paralysis, and I was so scared. And being Hispanic and where I'm from, South Texas, howdy, the majority of people are Catholic. Okay, maybe not like really practicing Catholic, but they like to pretend. So anyways, so I would tell my parents and my grandmother, and they're like, no. And literally I would have such horrible sleep paralysis, and I would tell them, and they would literally push me back in the room. No, you need to go to sleep. And I'm there scared, crying all night long, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it was really, really scary for me until one day, this was many years later, I was like 14 or something. I was in school. My mother and my grandmother tried to go put laundry away in my room. And it's the daytime. That giant demonic shadow that had been harassing me for years lunged at them. All the clothes went up in the air. They never questioned me again. So that's how it worked for me, at least. With that.
Wow.
I was very lucky.
So did they foster that gift afterwards, after they saw that?
Yes. You know, wouldn't say completely supportive, but they believe when I tell them something, I guess. So,
well, but it also has a lot to do, I think, with culture as well, because in that culture, it's a very superstitious culture.
It is.
So I think leaning into it, they may have had some trepidation with that, you know.
Well, here's the thing. Being Hispanic and then being Catholic, it's almost like a contradiction thing when it comes to supernatural, because you're right, we're very superstitious and they believe in like otherworldly things, but at the same time they're like Catholic, so they shouldn't do that. But you know, my grandmother would go to the tarot readers and they would go to curanderas. My other grandma was a highly respected witch in Veracruz. So trust it's I like to say it's to their convenience. Then something's bad for you, you know, kind of thing.
Interesting.
For me, it was very different. I was seeing archangels since basically I was born. They helped me, they healed me right before the age of 2. I wasn't able to walk till then. I was able to walk after that. I could not talk to my father about it because he was extremely Christian, not Catholic even, really Christian, you know, like evangelical type.
Mm-hmm.
And then
like Tammy Faye.
No, not that. And then, but my mother was a generational gifted woman, so she would say to me, "You come to me and you talk to me about that." So I was blessed I had support, because otherwise that would have been extremely scary time. You know, just seeing people pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out.
Because your dad was so religious, did you guys keep that from him?
Until my mother passed away. Well, we sort of kept it away, you know, from him. But he had suspicions that I was gifted. Then my mother passed away, and then he started seeing my mother in the house. And then he came over to me and he apologized for all those years of trying to restrict me. And so he was like, "Can you help me talk to your mother?" Yeah, sure. I could go and help you talk to mom.
So yours is truly a generational gift. Moongirl, is yours a generational gift as well?
Yes, like I said, my grandmother was very well respected bruja in Veracruz, so she always had like a gift, and it runs in the family. My sons are gifted too. So, but you know, the way I was raised compared to how they're raised, it's very different. I'm very like open with them, and I embrace their gifts, and they tell me, "Mom, I saw something, I felt something." So yeah, it runs in the family for sure.
So is you just said that your sons are gifted as well from you. So is it, you know, in society we're always taught that it runs through women, you know, so is it true that it can pass from, like you just said, obviously, that it passes from mother to son as well as maybe from father to daughter?
I think so, definitely.
Yes.
That's interesting, because this whole conversation has got my wheels turning, because these two guys on the screen with me up top, they know about a lot of stuff that's been happening in my life within the last month or so, about coming to terms with some things. And what I'm actually finding out through family history is that not only my mom, but her mom and her grandmother also experienced a lot of things. And I was like, okay, all women. And then we get to me. What the hell happened? You know, but she didn't have any, you know, she didn't have any girls until later on.
Well, like I said, I have 2 boys. So
yeah, I know. So that's why I was curious about that, because I'd always wondered, you know, in society, we always hear that it like runs through the female lineage more than, you know, in what we're taught, I guess, so to speak. So,
I think it's just that the men are scared to admit that they have gifts.
They have to be machos, and you know, or else they're crazy, or they can't be scared if they see something. You know, they get judged by it. Boys don't cry, you know, like the Cure said. So it's harder for men, and especially young boys. You know.
Yes, especially if they're young. But I could tell you, my youngest son used to see ghosts in the old house and in the new house that I live in. And one time he actually came down and said, they're trying to get me to do something that I know is bad, but they're saying it's not. And I'm like, okay, let me go have a chat with
Oh
them.
shit.
Yeah.
Mama
What they
Bear's on
wanted
the
to do.
prowl.
Oh yeah. I went upstairs but my daughter also has the gifts. So I just let them develop them whenever they're ready. They all know they have it, but whenever they're ready to blossom completely, that's up to them.
But you also you can't force it on someone. You can't force them to embrace it. If you're just not ready, you're just not ready. You know what I mean? It has to be like an organic thing where you've actually really acknowledged it and you've come to terms that this is, what I am, and you have to embrace it. Like if me and Glenda try to force someone to do it, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? We can give them advice and help you, but hey, we know you have gifts. You have to embrace it. You have to, like, that's not going to do everyone a disservice.
Yeah.
You try to force
style.
Yes, you try to force anybody to do anything, they're going to shut down immediately.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. So, but what do you guys find is the most common gift that people have?
That's a good question. A lot of them here.
Clairaudience.
Clairaudience.
Well, we all have. There's so many clairs. There's so many clairs. Some people can see a full-on apparition. Sometimes they show themselves as solid, which has confused me. Other times, like you can actually taste something, or you'll smell something, or you'll hear something. Either you hear them, you even hear a song or something, a tune that has something to do with them, like it was their favorite song or whatever. There's so many different ways that you can, or you just know there's something there, period. I think the knowing one might be more, I think I've heard people say, I just know, I'm like, it's my intuition, kind of thing.
But a lot of the ones that I've encountered has been hearing their name called, hearing turn left, hearing turn right. So don't go there. That kind of thing.
So it can't.
What's the difference in that and your gut? Because like I have like had this feeling that I had to leave someplace and I left, and it was a good thing I did because the place I was at had people walk in with guns and rob the place. It was just that I got to get out like right now. I have to get out immediately. I would call that my gut instinct, my fight or flight. Well, you need to fly, So what's the difference in that and your gut instinct?
Basically, it's the same thing. It just depends on how you call it, how you want to experience it, how you want to really name it. Because, you could just say it's my intuition or it's my gut. I always tell people, check your gut. Basically, it's the same thing as check your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right.
Got it.
So and speaking of like the ones that y'all see the most of, but I hear a lot of people, are people, I guess you could say, are people able to have more than one ability? Or, I mean, I'm sure that's probably a weird, stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. But more than one ability, like you're clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant, you have the whole kit and caboodle. Or are people typically born with just one gift ability?
No, you could have all of them, or you could have one, you could have two. It all varies on everyone. Everyone's different. What one medium, this is what I like about other mediums, real ones, by the way. It's kind of like, hey, I can do this. What can you do? What can I do? Oh, you do this. Oh, I do that. Oh my gosh. So it's like a compare contrast. It's fun. It's a fun game to me.
She's sitting over there in the corner with the other medium playing Go Fish. Do you have clairvoyance?
Yes.
I do not. Please read again.
Well, everybody's born with everything, in my experience. It just depends on what clair you have first developed or is your strongest. It could be the way you were brought up, your situation, what you experienced. And then, for example, I know Moongirl and myself, we have all the clairs open. At least I do, in order to teach them. Because when I run my classes, I actually hear, see, taste, smell, everything. Know everything that the other people are experiencing also, because I got to make sure that I'm managing the spirits that are coming in, because you open a class, you're going to experience whatever, even though you have protection or whatever, but you're still going to have spirits that are going to act the same way they act here. So if one comes in cursing and the woman is like, oh, he was cursing too much, he made me afraid, just tell him to leave, kind of have to.
Just like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Yes.
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Love her. My mom used to call me that after all this happened. like Whoopi Goldberg, the little lady from Poltergeist. This house is clean.
My favorite moment out of that whole damn movie is where she's just like, oh, you got attitude. He's got a little attitude. So I know there's a question that we get a lot whenever we talk about psychic mediums, mediumship around other individuals. So I'm going to ask y'all. I think we three know the answer, but I know some of our viewers may want to know. If we have all of these things and we're born with all of these things and we build these up over time and we're able to use them, why not just use them to, figure out the lottery numbers or to do whatever?
I wished it worked that way. It doesn't. I'd be you'd be rich.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's not like to gain something for yourself. It's to help people.
Yeah.
This is why you're here, to help others, whichever way you can.
I could help people a whole lot more if I had a little more money.
Yeah, me too.
I can tell you, my mother used to dream the numbers.
Really?
And my father, every once in a while, she would say, you need to play these numbers. And being the old macho Cuban guy who didn't really believe in all this stuff, would not play them. And they would not win. And she would, yeah, those were sleeping on the sofa days.
I'm like, listen, even if I didn't.
I don't even play because I know I'm not going to win. I know I'm not going to win. Like, I already know I'm not. Like, even when we went to Vegas, I'm going to sound like a cheap ass, and it's not because I'm a cheap ass. I had money, okay? It's Vegas. But I knew I wasn't going to win. So I was like, I'm just going to give myself a $20 budget because I know I'm not going to win. And I didn't win. And I was like, okay, that's my experience. Bye-bye. Thanks, because I knew I wasn't going to.
No, dude,
you're not a cheap ass.
You're not a cheap ass. You're not a cheap ass at all. I do the same thing. I work too damn hard for my money. I'm not trying to throw it away in a damn slot machine somewhere.
I'm like, but listen, I'm going to say one thing. Whether I was Cuban or not and really didn't, agree with delving into all this shit, the lottery's at 1.2 billion right now. I think I'd take a chance.
I'll take a number.
I'll buy a lottery ticket.
What, the way things are now, yes, please, numbers.
But the thing is like what I know from my experience and my belief system, my I guess religion, if you want to call it that. I'm pagan and all that stuff. You can't use anything for personal gain. You can't do that. You do that, it's going to come back to you tenfold in the negative. So
exactly,
that's why you can't use these gifts or spell work or any of your journey work that you do through life for any personal gain whatsoever.
Exactly.
So
although when it comes to lottery, I'm willing to take my chances. Okay. They can get me in the next life. They can screw me over the next life. I'm going to enjoy this one with the lottery ticket.
So
Be careful what you manifest. Be careful what you manifest.
Right.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier. You were talking about someone who is a real medium. How can you tell if someone? I say, how can you tell?
Easy on this can of worms. Easy on this can of worms, Ryan.
I'm just saying, how can you tell as someone who is a medium? How can you
No
tell
names.
when someone is being less than honest?
Well, I'm not going to mention names like he said, but
no names.
Glenda have these conversations. If you only knew, bitch, did you just see this dumb bitch pretend she got possessed again and throw herself on the floor? Every place we go, she gets possessed. She's done a shitload of research on the building. Then she's like, "Oh yes, Pancho died here. I know. You did a lot of research that Pancho died there. So you just know."
Is it something that you feel like in your spirit?
Oh
for
my
lack of a
God!
better term?
It's look, and me and Glenda can talk about this. Like, we've learned throughout the years to temper our mouths. But as Latinas, boy, as in being a challenge, the facial expressions, I just have to look away sometimes. I'll be real with you. I'm like,
Okay.
Usually I get one of my teams going, you do know they're bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but let them think they're not. It's like,
So that
but
is
you know,
always
you know
the
what's
issue that I
frustrating
have.
though? Let me tell you what's frustrating on that one, which again, me and her had conversations.
Mhm.
It's when you know someone's really full of crap and you know they're lying through their teeth, but everyone else is convinced that they're like, oh, the second coming of Christ, that they're, and I'm like, how do you not see this? Like, I know, I mean, like, I'm not the only one who does not, like,
and then years later,
yes,
yeah, they're over suddenly, did you know? Yeah, I knew. Why didn't
yeah,
you tell me? Because you wouldn't have believed me then.
because the person who always tells the truth is the one who gets hated. And
Right.
again, we had a
So,
conversation with girl. I'm like, mm-hmm. I go, oh, finally it came out. Yeah.
it's just like, mm.
So that's always the issue that I have, because I am a big skeptic on a lot of things that I can't physically see, touch, experience, whatever. And so I always go, is it possible they did the research before they walked into the building? Did they go
I'm
and
gonna
look
say
through the
I've seen people
graveyards?
do it. I've
Yeah.
seen people and overheard people say stuff. So I'm gonna say yes to you, Shelly, on the reels.
Well,
On the
that's
reels.
and that is where my skepticism, and I know y'all, so y'all probably have heard me say this before. I am very skeptical whenever it comes to psychic abilities. I always just say, hey, you got lucky, hey, you had this. I have had some experiences that I can't explain,
Mhm.
but I always, like you said before, chalk them up to coincidence or it
Mhm.
was weird. Okay, whatever, move on. So, how would you advise someone who is skeptical like myself to open up your mind to legitimate, real, credible, let's put that word in there, mediums? Because it is very difficult for me to grasp the idea that somebody knows something. I mean, because I have a test question. I always ask someone who claims to be a medium. Never has anyone ever gotten it right, ever. So, how would you get
Well,
me to open up my mind and believe?
one of my tests is I go because I do this for fun. I'm
Mhm.
probably going to be hated right now.
Oh, it's okay.
I go to mediums and psychics around and I have them read me. Now, I'm very hard to read
Mhm.
unless I let you read me.
Ah,
And there was,
That's a valid point too. I'm gonna interrupt real quick.
yeah,
If you go get a reading and you're going for the purpose to try to like, show this person like, oh, they're fake, you
right,
put up a wall
yeah,
and you're doing yourself a disservice because you're the one losing money. If you're purposely putting up the wall, you are going to make it hard for the psychic, but doesn't mean they won't break through the thing, but you're going to make it hard for them. You know what I mean? And it is because you're trying to prove them wrong.
well, no,
And again,
I've
you get a
always,
better reading if you just let it, just happen. Don't put the wall, and then the medium or psychic or whoever you go, they can give you their legit reading, and then you take it from there. Did it resonate? Awesome. It didn't? Okay, well, I guess this just didn't. It wasn't for me.
well, no,
but
in fairness,
what,
I always go in with an open mind on it.
right,
But
Well, no, I'm
I
not saying
always
you
have a test
to speak.
question. I'm always like, tell me something. I'm
right.
ready. I'm here. Go for it. Tell me
Be
something.
skeptic. That's what
Oh,
I
am.
tell you. Be skeptic. When you walk into anyone, when somebody walks into me, I want them to be skeptic because I want to prove to them the real stuff. I want to give them the evidence. The grandmother whose name is Mary and who had curly hair and had dark hair, who looked completely different than all her siblings. Everybody else was blonde, blue eyes, straight hair, and she was the very different. And that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that I give, which then another medium psychic should be able to give to me.
Okay.
I
I
should
think
be
I
able
think
to give you evidence.
I think and
But
I think that's a healthy mindset to have with anything that has to do with the paranormal or the unexplained. I mean, even with us as paranormal investigators, have a healthy level of skepticism
Mhm.
when you're in these situations or going into these situations.
Yeah, like when we go to investigations, I try to debunk things. If I think like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I don't know, it could have been somebody downstairs, close the door, or maybe the air is on or something, because I want all to prove that, okay, yeah, there's a possibility it was a spirit, or no, it's a possibility that we did something. Like there's been times we have like, all the machines going on, everything, all the equipment, and then, lights go off. So it's because our cameras are really close together. You know what I mean? Like it's not always, not do we get excited at the time? We're like, oh my God. And we're like, oh wait, dumbass, I have my phone next to the EVP. Yeah.
And we do that. We try to debunk everything. That's why we have tons of evidence that has never even been shown on the podcast, because either the camera was not in the same spot, and so we can't completely prove that it happened, even though we were all in the room, we all know it happened. But we have lots of stuff we don't even show because we can't 100% be certain that there is no way it could have been caused by something else. So you do say go in with and be a little bit skeptical and let them prove it to you, but go in open.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. But in the same token, and I don't know how Glenda feels about this, but I'm not here to like prove myself to people or to like, you know what I mean? It's like if you're down with it, cool. If you're not, I'm not gonna like force you and try to convince you like, oh my God, this blah blah blah. Like, that's not my thing to debate with you. You come for a service, we do it, that's cool. If not, that's fine, but it's never us like going to try to force you to convince people. We're not trying to convince anyone,
We're
Have
not,
have you guys ever encountered someone who came in a very staunch skeptic and just been like, I don't believe any of this shit, this is a bunch of horse shit, and left completely changed?
Oh yeah.
Yes. One was a man for me who was like completely saying, no way, I'm just here because my wife gave me this gift certificate and she's outside in the car and she expects me to come in here and yada yada yada. And by the time he left, he had signed up 4 different classes with me.
Wow.
So,
that's a big conversion, definitely, from somebody who doesn't believe to someone who's like, yes, sign me up.
I also brought the reality that his real father was his uncle and not his father.
That's a bombshell.
Yes,
I know.
he knew it.
Afterlife bombshell.
He knew it. So I brought that evidence in, and he's like, nobody knows that, not even my wife. I only found out when my uncle was dying and on his deathbed, he confessed that he was my father, not my uncle. It was kind of, and I was like, well, they're just telling me this.
That would convince me.
All right, I just had I'm not laughing at the situation. I think random freaking things when people say things, and all I could sit here and think was you have like a talk show card that says Maury on the back, and you're like, you are not the father.
You're like, you're gonna guess what? This is your uncle.
That's
Daddy,
okay. I was laughing myself when I was getting the information. I'm like, oh my God.
I am the guy you cannot sit next to at funerals. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
Me too.
Because inevitably I'm gonna laugh. That's just how I handle that crap.
That's okay, because then that keeps all the dead people around me from trying to talk to me. I'm fine. I'll sit with you.
Yeah, you come sit with me too. Good. I can't keep a straight face. I laugh at funerals as well.
So I want to kind of change up the subject just a little bit because Glenda, you're a grand Reiki master as well, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get into it, and what does it take to get to the level where you have gotten to?
Well, I got into it in the 80s when it used to be
she had her spandex and her Aquanet.
No, I didn't use Aquanet, honey. I had my natural hair was out the hair. I heard about healing and energy healing, but I was like always curious, but I never had the opportunity, the time and the money, because at that time it cost a lot of more money than it does now. And they used to come from Japan once a year to New York in this big audience and auditorium, and then they would do the class there one day. The next day you get attuned, so you got initiated to the right frequency each level, and they would only come back once a year. And so I did that for the first 3 levels. And then I got married, I had kids and all that other stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, push everything to the side because you cannot hold, so many jobs and still do this. And I was a paralegal. So my job required for me sometimes to go in on Sundays and work on something that for court the next day or whatever. So I put everything aside and then I started back up somewhere in the late 2000s, middle 2000s. And then I just kept going. And every level, I would study, take the exams, take the class, get a new attunement. Then you have to go through your 21 days of healing. And then you come back and they seal the attunement. That's basically what they do. And my mentors were really good with me because they knew I had children. So they kind of expanded if I had to, or gave me a little break if I had, if I needed to or whatever. And now I'm all the way up to the 25th level of Usui. And I also am attuned and can teach almost 100 different types of Reiki.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know there were that many types.
There's
And-
Wiccan, there's pagan, there's
Uh-huh.
dragon, there's fairy, there's Kundalini, there's
And
there's a lot.
for people who don't know what Reiki is, can you explain what it is and how many levels are there?
Okay. Well, levels, there's 31 in Usui, which is the original Reiki modality that was reintroduced to us. Humans knew about this. Humans knew how to do this a very long time ago. But the powers to be, in order to control the people and to control the masses, started making it forbidden to do all this stuff. And then once they started doing that, people would just hush hush, and eventually it just went away. And then what happened is somebody, Dr. Usui, went out, who was a monk, went out in the late 1800s for 21 days of fasting and meditation in Japan. And when on the 21st day, he received all the knowledge and the full attunement right to his third eye. It was like a lightning bolt type of thing, bright light right there.
Okay.
And then he started healing people, went around heal, until he got to what is that? It's like a king, but not a king. Emperor. And he then healed him, and then he healed his sister, and that's why the emperor made it okay to be an emperor even though you were a woman. That was one of the reasons he changed that law.
Okay.
So, but basically Reiki is taking all the energy that's around everywhere, like Tesla, the same theory as Tesla, and having your body be the conduit. So you bring it in, you intensify it, and then you send it out through the palm of your hands, through this chakra.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Okay. Because I kind of knew what it was, but didn't really know what it was. Thank you for explaining that.
So it's kind of like the healing by laying of hands.
you don't lay the hands anymore.
You don't.
No, because it's energy. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
you don't have to.
Yeah,
Some people do, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I have clients in Canada and Europe and South America, and we just do it by Zoom. I stream it and just send it out. So
Well, go ahead and fix me while I'm here. I got a lot of issues.
Shelly, we don't have that kind of time, girl.
No.
We'll be here till next week's podcast.
I got phobias. I got weird crap. I got headache. You tell me what to do.
Well, I'm telling you. So when we went to West Tex Paracon, they had Reiki healers and all kinds of paranormal and psychic mediums, everything. All kinds of people were there. And so I walked over to the Reiki healer and I was like, "Hey, I'm interested in
Fix me.
getting fixed up. Like, give me a nice little tune-up." And he was like, "You're really way out of balance." And I was like, "Oh, great. Awesome. Yay." And he came back by the table and he comes over to me and he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, I really want you over at my table. And I'm like, he walks away and I look at Shelly. I'm like, the fuck does that mean? What's wrong with me?
Oh, let me list
well,
the
then
things.
Blake, he goes over and he gets tweaked or whatever it is that got done to him. And I passed this same guy in a little while, and I said, "Hey," I said, "Did you fix him?" You know, and the guy goes, "Yeah." He goes, "And you need to consider coming over there too." And I go, "What the hell does that mean?" You know, I was like, "I'm fine." I think.
I was like, we're great. We think, we don't know. I mean, but it was a very
I didn't go, by the way.
What's the? Oh, I did. I must have had something wrong because the guy before me, I watched how long he was on the table. He was only on there for like 5-10 minutes, something like that. They did something real quick. They were done to like go. I laid there for like 45 freaking minutes, and I'm like, I must have had all kinds of crazy shit wrong with me. But it was a very almost emotional moments when they were doing all that they were doing, because I literally could feel moments where I felt like things were moving. You know, and I'm sitting there like with my eyes closed and I'm doing like this, you know, like
yeah.
You know, like, what are you doing? You know? And they weren't doing anything but just what they knew to do. But it was it really was kind of a healing process. It was fascinating to experience.
Mm-hmm. It's very gentle too, so it's not abrasive, and it just gently works on what you need to be done at that moment.
Do you ever have somebody come to you and say, "Fix me"? Go, "Oh, child, you are beyond help."
I want to say that sometimes, but no.
That one over there on the other side of the screen.
Shelby, you just get in touch with me, and I'll give you a.
She'll fix you.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, for like 2 or 3 years now, I've had what I believe to be an attachment of some sorts, and I've now had like 4 Reiki healers try to heal me from it or do what they know to do to get rid of it, and nope. Nothing. I had this one lady look at me at Metacon in July, and she's like, "I can get rid of it." And I said, "You'll be the 4th one to tell me that, but you go right ahead. I'm gonna stand here. You do your thing." And she did
But
her
in
thing.
all
Nope,
fairness,
not yet.
it was at bay for about 4 or 5 weeks.
It was at bay for quite a bit.
It just hid.
It just hid really well. Because see, he likes to scoot away just far enough to where they feel him go away, and they're like, "Okay, I'm done." But then he comes back after they're finished. So
Sneak attack.
yeah, he's a pestering asshole. A lot like Ryan, but you know.
At least, hey, I am a lovable asshole. Get it right.
Are you?
Depends on the day. No,
Yeah. They're going right now. Why did we agree to this? We still
Well,
could be doing
there's
so much
an
better
open
things.
invitation. Get in touch with me. We schedule something, and we'll give it. I'll do it on Zoom. Don't even have to travel and be there.
Okay.
So I know, Glenda, you offer classes and stuff like that. Now, Moongirl, is there anything that you offer to help with like the psychic side, the mediumship side of it?
Well, I'm an instructor at University Magicus. It's the real school of magic, like Harry Potter. That's a Patty School and Father Sebastian.
That would be
so
Patty Negri, correct?
Patty Negri, yes, Patty Negri and Father Sebastian.
Who is the vampire
Yeah.
high vampire? What's the official term?
Well, we just call him Father Sebastian. He's a fang king. He'll fang you.
Right, but Christy
Christy Ayers?
Vampira, no,
Vampira.
No.
Christy Grisham,
Yeah.
Vampira. She had also talked to us about Father Sebastian, who I guess is the high holy vampire or whatever he is. I don't remember the term she named him, but so the School of Magica, correct? Father Sebastian, Patty Negri.
Yes. And who else is somebody? There's another owner. Oh my God, I forgot his name. I feel so terrible. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Yes, so I teach classes there on divination. So I've taught like Chinese face readings, Nephilomancy, flower divination.
What was that second one?
Nephilomancy, like reading of clouds, reading of clouds and stuff like that. It's kind of like scrying, but with rules. Do you know what I mean? It's not just, oh, what do you see there? No, it's how high is it? What color is it? The speed of it. There's more to it than just scrying. And so I've taught some classes there, dream interpretation, stuff like that. So those are the classes that they can catch me on there if they want to catch my class.
Nice.
Interesting.
Well, do y'all have, Ryan, I think you have another question, don't you?
I do. Being mediums and paranormal investigators, what is the scariest experience you've ever had?
Ooh, good one. I love this one.
The scariest one I ever had, and I still stick to this one. This was not even like an investigation. Does that count? It was more like personal experience. I lived in this place. It was an apartment, and at the time, I had my son, who's almost 18. He was like a baby, and my then ex-husband, one time only, what's it called? He would work all day, and then I would have, this is like back in 06, 07, okay? This is like a long time ago. All right. So I would go, he wasn't there all day, and I would go to the shower, and I would close the shower, the door, because I was scared he was going to get into the toilet or something, so he wouldn't stop crying until I was out. So I'd be in the shower, and this happened multiple times. That place was just, woo, it was so much. I would hear him stop crying, and I'm like, okay, he never does that until, I'm out. And then I would hear his dad talking. And his dad starts talking to me, and I'm like having a full-on conversation, like, hey, whatever, I come out. He's not there. I'm thinking maybe he went outside real quick. The car's not there. I'm like, okay, maybe he came for lunch. And we only had one phone back then, right? So it's like either he took it, I would have to call his work if I had it. So I wasn't going to do that. He would come home at night. I'm like, hey, did you come for lunch? He's like, no, I wasn't here. I wasn't here all day. So that was really crazy. Other times, we were asleep. I saw him standing up, and I thought it was him. And he just looked really weird, really strange. I looked, and it was him in the bed. Then that other person disappeared, and vice versa. He's had those experiences.
No.
And then check this out. I was pregnant with my second. So my doctor, I wanted to keep the same doctor that I had with my first son, but it was a few hours away. I was in South Texas. I had moved to Corpus Christi. So, you have to go more times when the pregnancy gets, you're higher. So he would think that I was already on my way. We're like, yeah, I'm on my way. He's in the shower. He's having a full-on conversation with me. I'm telling him this or that or whatever. Then he comes out of the shower. He says, I'm not there. So he thinks, okay, well, maybe they went to go get, some food. And he calls him like, dude, we're still on the freaking road. I haven't been there at all. And I thought that was some of the scariest things, because I can I don't know, just seeing whatever that was, doppelganger, it was really creepy. And toys would make a lot of noise. We turned off the battery. We took off the batteries. First we turned it off, then we took off the batteries. It still made noise. Alarms would go off. There were brand new alarms for the fire alarm thing. It was a really ugly place. And it cost a lot of craziness there. We finally had to move. It was like, I didn't want to embrace it with with the baby being so young, and then me being pregnant. I was scared that if I tried to mess with it, it could hurt the baby and hurt my, the one I was carrying. So I was like, we have to move. I don't want to be in this place, because I'm right now I'm pregnant. I don't want to deal with all this stuff. What can something really horrible happen? Or I didn't want, to have a miscarriage or something horrible like that. So that's probably the scariest thing that was not, a personal experience for me, at least.
It sounds almost like a mimic.
Mimic.
Yeah, mimic. Yeah. It didn't follow you though. It stayed where it was. It did not follow you to the next.
But we had a potty too. It was a brand new potty, because we were trying to teach the older one, to try to, potty train. He never used it. And this potty would sing only when you did number 2 or you tinkled. He never even used it. This thing would sing all the time by itself. And I was so freaked out about it, because I'd been in the shower, and I'm like, please, not in the shower. Not while I'm showering. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, no.
It's like, why is that?
I'm telling you, there was an experience that I had at one of my aunts whenever her daughter was younger. And I mean, like a baby. And I was down there. I was maybe 13 at the time or something like that. We're both laying on the couch, watching Dr. Phil or something like that, because it was summer break. and we hear her daughter's toy is an Elmo piano, and it just goes na 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 Elmo's world, and we're like, what? And so we go in there. Her daughter's asleep in the crib. The toy's in the middle of the floor, and we're like, okay. So we pick it up. We make sure it wasn't on. So we were like, all right. So we set it back down, walked back out there, heard it again about 5 minutes later. That no. Elmo's world. We walked back in there. That thing, we picked it back up, took the batteries out, set it down, walked into the living room, and heard it again. And I looked at her and said, and the next day that damn toy went in the trash.
Well, you see, like we have a caterpillar, and you have to press the buttons. It has like ABC, and then the other one had like the numbers. This thing sometimes would freaking giggle. It wasn't supposed to damn giggle, okay? It just said that. And so we had it in a box with a bunch of toys. We're in the living room, right? And I keep hearing something. So I go to the room. It's in the box, and I hear it like it was kind of whispering, and it starts giggling. I'm like, what? Then it says L, 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 L. And I'm like, L? Why is it saying like it's stuck on L? And then it starts giggling, and it goes L, L. And then I'm like, L. My son's name is London. I'm like, and by then he was already in school. I'm like, is there something wrong with London, or what are you saying, London? And then I kid you not, the school calls me, hey, your son got hurt. You need to come pick him up. And yeah, it was my son, London. I got scared of that thing because I was scared it was going to do something to the kids. So I got rid of it, which it didn't. But, you know, at the time they were really young, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't feel comfortable with, you know, babies around whatever that was.
Do you know if somebody had maybe dabbled in something they shouldn't have had before you moved into the home, or did you ever find anything weird?
Well, but by then we had moved, and, you know, being a psychic, you're always going to, no matter where you live, there's going to be something. You know, it's not you that are messing with it. There sometimes is people who mess with stuff, whatever, and they, you know, bring that up. But when you're a psychic, it doesn't matter where you live, you're going to pick something up either from you, a neighbor, whatever. It's bound to happen. I used to think, oh my God, everywhere I go, it's haunted, you know? No, bitch, that's not how these things work.
Welcome to the paranormal world, people.
Yes,
yes.
Exactly.
Well, for me, it was meeting up with a Banshee.
With a,
I have
You
not
actually
really.
came in contact, but I thought banshees were harbingers of death, and that if you,
Mhm.
you good, right, Glenda?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
That
All
was
right,
a long
so-
time ago.
Okay,
I
okay, I just want
actually-
to make sure.
I actually not befriended, but kind of explained to the Banshee it had to stop doing what it did because my ears were about to explode. And then it just, like, I was talking to it. To see, I do paranormal investigations, but I kind of moved over to the remediation part. I'm the one who goes in there and does some type of agreement between the other world and our world, so everybody can live harmoniously in whatever property it is. So I was talking to it and like, okay, dude, you gotta cut this out. My ears are about to bleed here. And there were people all over the place trying to figure out where that terrible noise was coming from. It finally stopped, and it was an ugly thing. I wasn't gonna say that I'm.
You're hurting its feelings, Glenda. Everyone's beautiful.
What it looked like?
yeah.
What you can imagine.
Naughty Gemini over there.
What you can imagine, like a demon, but very ugly.
Was she a sexy demon?
Yeah, tell me, was she?
Oh, gosh,
Yeah,
Ryan.
like red lipstick.
I wish it was that easy. No.
Did she have red lipstick and dark hair with cat ears on?
Yes, actually.
Ah,
I think
okay.
so.
What a sexy bitch. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, it showed itself to me very you had to get used to the way they appeared. Let's
Just
say that.
just grotesque. Like, did it like was it missing eyes? Did it like have like
No, it's
like
just very, very
facial features? Like, can you?
Was it? Was
but it wasn't
formed like
facial
us?
features per se.
Uh-huh.
It was just the whole
Thing just felt ugly.
yeah.
The
Okay.
form in general. So now I have to know what kind of agreement you come to. You scream on every third Thursday, and they agree not to listen. I mean, what did you
Friday
negotiate?
is free. It's free from Banshees because that's the day you all go out to drink.
What was the? I have to know now. What was the agreement?
The agreement was that because he wasn't screaming for death. That's what everybody thinks, that that's the reason they scream. He wasn't screaming for that. He was actually screaming to try to find his family for all intents
Because he stubbed his toe. It was his little toe. And
So,
really
Wait,
painful.
banshees have families? I did
yeah,
not
they
know
have
this.
groups.
yeah.
A what?
They have
Groups.
groups. Just like
Groups.
us.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
a,
we
like
have
a
our
little
groups.
clan.
Okay.
Groups.
They travel in packs
How do you
sometimes.
think they materialize? I mean, they technically just.
I've never seen one.
Oh, well, good for you.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I am fascinated by this banshees. I am.
No,
They
Good for
send
you.
her home, Glenda, so she can see her.
Wait,
Don't,
what? I
don't
didn't
put
hear.
that out there. It's really not.
No, I don't really want to see one. I'm glad you saw it. I'm all good with learning through someone else's experiences.
Yes,
was
that's the
was in
smartest way.
Was this in someone's home, or was this where
I
was it?
in a small town just passing through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Okay. Yeah, I've never talked to
I've
anyone
never
who's
been
seen a
to that
banshee.
town ever again, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
neither would I. No, it'd be good. Well, you made an agreement. It stays there and screams every third Thursday, and you're good.
I don't know when it screams or doesn't, but I just helped it do whatever it needed to
Move
do.
on. Yeah.
And move on, and you know, don't do that again, not near me. And you know, just
I
move
am
on.
fascinated that you can make a contract with a banshee. That
You can make a
fascinates
contract
me.
with anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything.
You don't want
Anything
to, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
But
you
sometimes they just magically leave, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I saw a duende, and I've always
Oh.
believed in duendes,
Yeah.
especially with our culture. But I had never actually seen. And I seen some weird ass shit. Okay, like for on the realsies, but I had never actually physically seen a duende. And we both took each other by surprise. I was trying to go to the restroom, and it was in my room, so I'm just like, be an airhead, just like going, like. And then I see this little thing, and it sees me, and we both jumped back. There's no other way around it. It ran to the restroom. There's nothing there. It can't escape. It just disappeared.
Right.
Completely disappeared. It was
And
tiny,
a
it
duende
had
is like a little elf, right? Kind of like a little elf or
yeah,
something like that.
it's kind of like a little elf, but it was a tiny person. It had a little curly fuzzy, it almost looked like an afro, almost like a reddish orangey kind of color, and that really like tripped me out because I had never physically seen it. And after a while, but prior to me seeing it, when I would sleep, and I had told Glenda the story before, I would feel things on my face, almost like a spider web. So I'd be like asleep, and I'm like, oh my God, what's on my face? I felt like stuff on my face. I felt things kind of touching, but I just figured, I'm like, oh my God, maybe like, a bug or I don't know what. So I never thought, oh, it's a duende on my face. God knows what it was doing to my face. Want to know? I don't want to know anymore. But
Is that also kind of like an imp? Because
what?
I say in my home I have an imp. I have an imp in my home that likes to move things around.
Well, yeah, they're known to move things. They can be really malicious, or sometimes they could be nice. Other times, if you I want to say kind of make them your pet in a sense, they can go do things for you. They can go do mean things for you if you want. That was
don't
never
do
my
that. You behave
intention.
yourself.
That was never my intention. I was just like, oh my God. But after a while, this little duende didn't give a crap that it would see me. Like it just, it would start running underneath the bed. Like it's the fastest thing I have ever seen in my life. And it's small, and it was like Speedy Gonzalez. And I was like, oh my God. And I'd be in my bed, and I see it go under my bed. And I'm like, oh, this little man, this little redhead Afro man is under my bed. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't know. And it kept doing that for a while. And then it got, I want to say, comfortable with me. It started walking slower, and I would actually get to see it more. And I was like, okay, well, I guess he's comfy, So I was
just making a
little
sandwich in
offerings
the middle
of
of the
candy. Well, I know, like, bitch, I'm gonna go get a sandwich. Okay, you're good. You're good. Okay, we're good. Yeah. No, but I would give him like an offering, because that's what we're supposed to do. Especially the Latino culture when this was duendes, we leave them candies, and it's like, hey, peace. You're like, welcome here. Just don't mess with the kids. Don't mess with my. But the little sucker started messing with all my things. He was hiding my keys. He was hiding socks. He even hid underwear, pervert. So I'm like, can you just bring that back, please,
Listen,
sir?
he was redheaded. He was just trying to show you his lucky charms. It's okay.
I guess so. It's tiny Lucky Charms. Need a magnifying glasses, but he was. After a while, he just magically disappeared, and he never showed up.
My headphones.
But I saw him quite a few times, but I had never in my life. I mean, I believe, but I had never seen one. I didn't expect to ever actually see one before. So,
Did you ever try to catch him?
Yes, I did, girl. You know I did.
Would a mousetrap work?
I did. No, I didn't do the mouse. I did the little sticky. You know, the little sticky, like a little
roach
sticky.
trap.
Yes. So, I mean, because if you catch them, like, you know, they're like, they belong to me now, you know, kind of thing. Like, you know, I don't like that neighbor over there. Do you mind? Like, you know.
That sounded evil. They belong to me now.
People, she doesn't do that. It's great.
And we want to thank y'all for joining this section of what not to do with the paranormal.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
not. No.
Golly. That is
But,
hilarious.
you know, I would leave little candy. I'm like, come on, little Dwayne. And I had friends over, and we were like, hey, let's see if like maybe he will like mess with y'all, or you know, and to be like little duende, and you know, whatever. And you know, it didn't show itself to them. It didn't want to.
No, she's laying down little sticky mouse traps, being like, gotta catch them all.
I'm like, come on, little duende. But no, they're very smart. They knew not to. But here's the thing: they're supposed to have a hole in one of their hands, right? So say that you make them yours, like you're their master now. If you, a way to punish them, you tell them, hey, go outside and just, you know, in that hand, pick rocks. They keep going down, of course, into the hole. And go. So that's one way people
mean.
That's not nice.
Yeah. It's not nice at all. But no, this is when they're out of control and they've done really malicious things, not just misplaced things. That's kind of playful, but they can hurt you and they can hurt other people.
Yeah.
Depends who you get, how you treat it. I was nice to it. You know, I left it candy, but did I want it? Yes, I did. I'm not gonna lie, Shelly. I wanted that little man. I wanted to keep him. It's part of my collection.
Like,
That'd be the only man I'd be able to keep. Anyway, I got
well, I couldn't even keep that one, so there you go.
oh my god, I could talk to y'all all freaking night long.
But
This is
as an
great.
Aquarius, I don't want to keep one anyway. So, joke's on you, Duende.
As a Leo, I get very bored very easily. Entertain me or be gone. You know?
Peasants. Jump, Duende, jump.
Oh my gosh, Ryan, Shelley, do y'all have any other questions for these two lovely
man.
ladies?
No, hell, we're as far off the rails as we
I
can
was
go.
gonna
Well,
say.
not as far as we can go, but we off the rails.
Yeah, we way out in left field.
Like one of our listeners just said, it's like a gremlin. Don't put it in water.
Right.
I think you
Whoa,
should
whoa.
bathe your duende twice a day.
You underneath everything, you know, they're naked, so they gotta, you know, they need a nice cleaning, Shelly.
I am going to let that just sit there. I'm not going to take the bait. But Shelly, washing your duende once a day is enough.
Is that
enough?
As long as you scrub it good.
Yes.
You got to get up in there.
Yeah.
And on that note, guys. My goodness.
Or
Glenda,
they might do weird things to you while you're asleep, okay? So you never
that's
know.
true. That's true. Glenda
I
and
might
Moongirl,
like that.
hang tight while we do a wrap up on our closing. We got a few announcements. We'll give you a proper goodbye and we will go and close this down. Y'all have been a hoot.
Duende balls. That's what I'm gonna leave everybody with. Duende balls.
There you go. There you go.
Hashtag duende balls.
Pequeño.
Yes, pequeño. Very good. Look at her. Bilingual and shit. Awesome.
Yeah, I know. I've had like 2 years of Spanish and I think I'm bilingual. It's so cool. It was
You're
about
like the
pequeño
white girl
duende.
who goes to like a Mexican restaurant and says gracias.
Blake, why don't you tell them everything they need to know?
I was waiting for my cue, Shelly. Well, first off, just to let y'all know, our brand new show, After Dark with EVP, has already premiered on Paraflix, and our new episode is dropping tomorrow night. That is Wednesday. It will be out at 8, 7 Central tomorrow. No, I'm sorry, Thursday. We moved to Thursdays, 8, 7 Central. So Thursday this week, it will be on Paraflix. We have some never-before-seen evidence and special guest interviews. We're going to talk to different paranormal investigators as well as haunted location owners, so make sure you go and check that out. Tomorrow morning, we'll be posting up our link tree to our Facebook, so make sure you're going to Everything Vaguely Paranormal Podcast Facebook page to find that. That's going to include a few things. It's going to be a link to the Paraflix site where you can sign up and use our code AFTERDARK25 for 25% off your annual subscription. It's going to have a link to our online merchandise store with our t-shirts, coffee mugs, all that kind of things from the podcast. You're also going to see a link to our public investigations. We are currently sold out on tickets, but make sure you follow our Eventbrite page to be notified when those tickets become available because we're talking about putting more locations on the calendar pretty soon. And there is also our Patreon page to help support the show with just $5 a month. You can unlock well over, I think it's like 150, 175 Patreon exclusive
It's a lot.
videos now. Yeah, that's going to include our pre and post broadcast, behind the scene moments, special video casts, Paracon speaking events, and we have the 7-day free trial for those who want to check it out before you purchase. So those are 3 links that you can use to support what we do. They go directly to the show. Your support is what we love. We love the likes, the shares, the comments. We appreciate y'all so much for that. And as always, any questions, comments, or stories you'd like to share with us, those can be submitted to us at the evppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go to that YouTube page and click subscribe.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, we thank y'all for joining us for another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. For myself, I'm Blake Smith. My partners in the paranormal, Miss Shirley Pruitt, Mr. Ryan Roberts, and our very special guest, Moongirl, Mistress of the Paranormal, and Glenda, the good bitch. We sincerely thank y'all so much for joining us. We hope y'all we had a blast, and we can't wait to do this again with y'all for real.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the Paraflix, being part of the Paraflix family.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, y'all.
Come on by, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us, and as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.